Hey guys, my name is Matthew, and this is my review of No Pain, No Gains. The Good Stuff Doesn't Come Easy, written by Chip Gaines. Here we go. Stepping into No Pain, No Gains, you may think that, I had no idea what this book was going to be, and even finishing it, I'm not 100% sure I do know. It's self-help slash motivational slash memoir, I guess, and it delves into a few different kind of categories. It's kind of written memoir-esque, but there's a lot of motivational and kind of a guide to figuring yourself out in this book. In this review, we're going to be going through some of my observations of the book, walking through some of my favorite things, and then kind of going through the list until we get to a couple things I didn't like as much. At the end of the review, I'll give you a recommendation for who should buy the book. So actually, I really enjoyed this book. I think that's one of the strengths of this book is that Chip has just got a really good voice. Actually, I think for writing in particular, he seems to have a really authentic voice, and it's fun and enjoyable. It's an easy read, and it doesn't really take a long time. I think it took me, I don't know, a couple hours, few hours maybe. This is you could sit down and finish this book in one sitting pretty easily, and that wouldn't be out of the question. It's a fun book, it's easy, it moves quickly, much quicker than some memoirs do. Memoirs can sometimes get bogged down because of kind of the way that people write, but this one is quick, it's easy, and it's enjoyable. For a book of this style, self-help books are rarely motivational for me. Sometimes they're interesting, or sometimes I get something from them and I learn from them, but they're rarely actually motivational. And I'll say that Chip's style is actually motivational for me. Maybe it's because I relate to him in some cool ways, or I feel like, you know, his style is a little bit my style, or the other way around, or whatever. But I felt like I related well to Chip Gaines, and so I felt motivated by some of the things that he said. There were other bits of things he said that I kind of just read past, and that's fine. But some of the stuff he said, I just went, yeah, wow, I do need to kind of kick that part into gear. I need to make this change. I need to do this thing. And I felt like it was actually motivational for me, which is a big plus in this book. The message of a lot of the book was really, really good. I really appreciated the message, and I feel like strongly a big portion of it was relationships or relational interactions are more important than businesses, or I don't know, or kind of all these kind of other ideas. Like, there are a lot of things that are important, but relationships, in Chip's mind, are maybe more important than anything else. Making quality, real connections with people, listening to them, hearing them, caring about them. It sounds like a great strength of Chip's, and based on reading this book, that really comes out. And so not only is it a strength of his, but I think it's something that is important, and I think it's cool the way that it comes out in this book and through his voice. One of the ideas I liked the most in this book was the idea of setting your priorities in order from the beginning, or what Chip calls non-negotiables. He says, make a list of things that are true about you, like truly true about you, who you are as a person. Make that list of things, and if it's family and friends and, you know, whatever your list looks like of things, if it's always telling the truth, or he kind of gives some of his non-negotiables in the book. But I love that idea of setting up your priorities, making sure you understand what it is that you stand for, so that way when hard times, questions, concerns come up, you can say, actually, this is one of my non-negotiables. I just don't do blank, or I always do blank. This is something I just don't negotiate on. And setting that place up for strength allows you to make decisions easier, and I think it's really important for your life in general. So I really appreciated the way that he kind of outlined his non-negotiables, and helps, I think, for people to do the same. So a couple of things I didn't like as much about this book. The first one is the title and the description do not give you any idea what the book is going to be about, to be honest. I came into the book a little bit unsure of what I was going to get into, and I left feeling still a little unsure. I think he went for the title partially because it's a funny quip, or like a play on his name, which is great. That's fine. He suggested some other titles that he had for the books, like I just don't feel like this is a book about networking or networks, even though that's like either one. I guess networks maybe, but which is fine because they're building a network, like a television broadcasting network or whatever. But I don't know, that was something I didn't love about it. Another thing I didn't like about the book, just in general, is while the majority of the message was really good, and I appreciated a lot of the things he was saying, I felt like actually too often, there were these really overused cliches that he was like focusing on, like, oh, follow your passions, or you have to look for yourself, or things like that. And I was like, they were really off-putting for me as we go through what feels like a deep and important and meaningful message. To hear these cliches that are not deep, not meaningful, I don't think they really follow the faith that he claims to kind of follow through. It's like a little bit weird, just kind of dichotomy there. So I didn't love those cliches. I felt like, and they were abundant, like a lot of them. It wasn't like, if it was a couple of those, that was fine, but it was like every chapter, there was several times when he was really focusing on this idea of like finding yourself. Like that was the most important thing. So didn't love that. Before I give you the recommendation for this book, I do want to point out to the description below where you can find this book on Amazon. If you're interested in purchasing it, we'd love it if you use that link. It really helps out our channel a lot. Now, actually, I recommend this book for a couple different people. First of all, if you like Chip and Joanna Gaines, this is a no-brainer. This is a great book. Chip's voice comes out. If you enjoy him as a person, this is, I think, just pick it up. You'll enjoy the book, I think. You get to know Chip quite a bit. It's kind of memoir style. You'll love this. The recommendation I have for this book, though, is I think you could buy this book, read it yourself really quickly if you want to kind of know what's going on there, but give it to someone who's kind of soul searching, maybe their early college years or late high school years, someone who is looking for a little bit of direction and doesn't necessarily want to follow the typical, hey, you just go to college, you get a job, you make $1 million or whatever, like strategy that Americans tend to follow. This goes against the grain a little bit, but it has a lot of good advice for how to do that well, how to really look for things that are going to drive you and just set you on fire in a good way for what it is you want to do with your life. So that's my recommendation for it, is buy it for a young person in your life. This has been my review of No Pain, No Gains by Chip Gaines. If you've enjoyed this view, feel free to like and subscribe. Feel free to use the description box below to grab your copy of the book. And as always, thank you guys so much and stay safe out there.